Hello everybody, my name is Kanamanika, and welcome to kind of a part 2. For those who want context, this is, go watch, hopefully the video should be out by now, if I'm scheduling this properly. This is my second copy of Prima, technically. My first one came borked, but otherwise, hopefully my intention is for this experience to be fairly self-contained. We're just going to be unboxing it. If you want more on that story, go watch the previous video about Hasbro Consumer Care, and hopefully it'll cover things a little bit better. But anyways, time for a normal unboxing. Anyhow, this is the Transformers Age of the Primes Voyager class Prima Prime of the 13. He's the first Prime, he's the big dog or whatever, and as you can tell, he is in that standard Age of the Primes packaging. Obviously, there's the golder flourishes rather than the white on, say, Slingshot's box here. You can see the differences. You have your usual information, robot to truck in 20 steps. This video is for adults, though, so... Yeah, on this side, you get the wonderful Age of the Primes styled artwork of Prima in robot and vehicle mode. You got your window to look at the figure himself. It's a Transformers Age of the Primes figure, the 13 Prima Prime by Hasbro, but on the top, you also see it's by Takara Tomy. It's the 13's Prima Prime. At the bottom, you get the legalese, so you can mostly skip over that. On this side, you get the Prime mural thingy, Tiller 1, Transformers Age of the Primes Voyager class. You can pick which one he is descended from. Clearly, it's Vector Prime. Now on this side, you get Prima just kind of standing there with his sword. Transformers Age of the Primes Prima Prime. It's nice to see this image up close and personal. On the back, you get the usual back renders. The 13 Prima Prime, you get that circle thingy. An image of Prima opening up his chest to accept that version of the Matrix. Robot and vehicle mode. And then his Prime artifact, the Star Saber. Without further ado, let's get this thing unboxed, shall we? As per usual, it's just a single slice of that sword, or knife. Sword, look at me using my own Star Saber. How fancy. There we go. And then we can just simply slide him out. There we go. Also all that jazz, because this is basically everything that comes in the box. Nice and stored right there, but you also get the instruction manual, which is your standard Transformers instruction manual, black and white and green, and you get the legal doobly-doo papers, which can go right there. Anyhow, let's start getting things out by taking a look at the accessories, which he really only comes with the one. You saw it on the back of the box. It's kind of 3 pieces though, so why don't we take a nice look at it? That's right, he comes with the Star Saber. Let's get a closer look at all of this. So it has the hilt, which is 2 pieces, though they are packaged together in the box for whatever reason. The basic hilt, which is in his sort of body color plastic, that's sort of off-white. And then the Matrix, which is silver for whatever reason, but otherwise is the same Matrix mold we've seen ever since Earthrise. So it's nothing too special. You could put in your Earthrise Matrix into there and it should be fine. Then you also get the blade of the sword, which is very much deliberately styled around the version of the Star Saber within the series Transformers Prime. A nice clear blue hilt, which is coming out beautifully on camera, honestly, with the silver sort of hilt thing that goes up here, going all the way here to the base where it has Prima's symbol beautifully printed. Mine's a little bit iffy, but that's fine. And you can just sandwich the 2 pieces together, and you get the Star Saber. It works perfectly. From what I can tell, it looks like there's a little spot to hold it on the back, which is nice. Obviously, it can be taken apart however you so choose. Anyhow, that means it's time to get the figure out of the package, which is as simple as cutting a couple of plastic ties and stuff. Let me just do, and then there we go. That should be everything. And then you just gotta finagle him out of the cardboard a little bit. Come on, there we go. And here we have Prima Prime out of the package properly this time. And yay, his shoulders are no longer misaligned. Let's tighten up his torso so that's good. Hooray! His shoulders are no longer misaligned. His torso kind of when it comes undone, but that seems like a separate issue entirely. Yay! 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 Yay indeed, because that means we get to actually review Prima a little bit. Or not really review, it's an unboxing, so very brief and very first thoughts-esque. So let's do the full workaround. He's a fairly simple bot, from what I can tell, stylization-wise. fairly clean black backpack. Like, I mean, there's a backpack, but it does fit in fairly nicely, all things considered. I don't mind it all that much. It's got some very nice greebling, which is kind of lost in the plastic color. We'll get there. But yeah, let's take a closer look. Why don't we? So we can get some of those details. As we can tell, the head is styled around the first appearance of Prima, the sort of first Matrix bearer seen in the G1 cartoon. It's a fairly nice head sculpt. A little plain, but I've grown to really like it. Mine's got a little bit of paint slop, but that's easy enough to scrape away, as you can tell. But yeah, you can see the skin tone, I guess. He's a robot. Matches the rest of the body armor, but then he has that nice sort of metallic paint on the helmet. I kind of wish that metallic paint was a little bit more prevalent on the gray plastic parts. That would have given it a nice sheen, but I do like it. It's a bit of an odd shape, but it works, in my opinion. Then we move on to the torso, which has that very mean sort of like sharp angular look, which I just love. Very much taken from his Covenant of Primus appearance. I love the way that the blue is like just nice and metallic in there, and even where there is paint bleed, it sort of gives it a glowing effect, which I think is honestly somewhat unintended, but nice nonetheless. And I do like the greebling. The backpack also has some of that nice blue, specifically a nice clear blue, similar to the sword. It just looks so pretty, and it does glow very nicely, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, arms, I really like these shoulder pads. I think they're fairly smartly designed. They're able to unhook sort of like that, kind of like an SH Figuarts Kamen Rider figure, which is very nice, and I appreciate that a lot. It allows it to nicely get out of the way when you move the shoulder. But overall, the greebling is fairly nice. The sculpting does get softened a bit by the plastic choice. That kind of just makes it look a little soft, but it doesn't get too lost in the sauce. And I do like the little silver here, even if that is just a result of vehicle mode stuff. It is coming unhinged a little bit quickly. Anyways, the hip skirts are a little bit weird. They're a little bit high, so they do come weird when you articulate. The lower crotch does have some nice detailing. Again, some of that nice blue that I really like, that I kind of wish was a little bit more prevalent on the rest of the figure, especially since there's just so little paint on it overall. I do kind of wish there was a little bit more of that blue, maybe getting it into some of those to emphasize the panel lines. That would be really nice. The legs also have more of that nice detailing that, again, could be panel lined a little bit to properly give off the aesthetic that they want to. I do like the silver on the sides, though, and the feet are some nice big clompers. They look nice. I like them. But yeah, also I really like the wheels filling in the back of the legs. They're a little hollow, but the legs are filled out fairly nicely by those wheels. But yeah, overall, Prima looks really nice. A little bit plain color-wise, but the blue does really pop. Overall, it does give off a very nice effect. But let's take a look at that articulation a little bit more unimpeded now that he doesn't have a borked shoulder. Head is on a ball joint. I think there's not really a hinge under there. I mean, there kind of is, but like mainly for vehicle mode, I think. So he can't really look extra down, but the ball joint is fairly unimpeded, mainly when looking up, oddly enough. So he's able to look up very far, not really down at all, not really a lot of tilt. There's like a little bit, but not much. You can take advantage of it though. And then he's able to fully swivel around. It is a little tight on my copy though. Shoulders, as mentioned, the shoulder pads are on a double hinge so they can get out of the way, allowing, if you're so inclined, for a nice universal shoulder, which you're able to swivel all the way around on that mushroom peg. They're able to go out like so. Not fully upward, unfortunately. For whatever reason, they are getting impeded a little bit, but bicep swivel right here, as is expected. Single jointed elbow, which is able to go further than 90 degrees, which is nice to see. There's a swivel at the wrist. I think that's done via a ball joint, so there's a little bit of wiggle in and out as well. And then the fingers on a very tight hinge, but they are hinged. I'm fuck. Come on, let's. There we go. Very tight hinge, but they are hinged, so they can go out. This is how they look when they are out. Not the worst. Hip skirts are able to hinge outward about that far, which allows for a fairly full swivel. Nothing really gets in the way otherwise. And then the hips are on your usual hip joints, it seems. Yeah, a little bit low placed, but it seems fine overall. So they're able to kick forward about that far backward, about that far hitting the kibble more so than anything. They're able to move out, if we move everything out of the way. Basically a full split, so that's nice. There is a thigh swivel, which is a little bit impeded since it is hidden within the sculpt. Able to move outward more than inward. Single jointed knee with a locking point here, but once you unlock it, you start there, and you're able to go a little more than 90 degrees. And then you have your feet, which are on hinges forward, which means they can move forward a little bit back, and then have a pivot, which allows them to go basically all the way. Great ankle pivot. overall, he is very well articulated. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fully appreciate him at first because, you know, mine came all fucky-wucky. Yeah, he's a fairly fun figure. Not, like, the best Voyager I've ever handled, but he's a fairly fun, fairly fully featured robot, at least. However, a Transformer is more than just the robot mode, as much as I love playing with robot toys. He's also a vehicle mode, so, without further ado, I need to get to the transformation so I can give some of my final thoughts on this figure. So, let's do that. And to see when you can actually do the transformation, it's actually kind of fun. I really like some of the steps in it. I really like the head is just kind of exposed there. But otherwise, I do really like some of the ways that this works. I like the way that the backpack kind of unfurls in its own way and then has like the wheels sort of line up properly. I really like these legs and the way that you sort of furl it inside of itself. Obviously, you can do like it's sort of like hover mode or whatever, but I'm not going to be too picky about that. But yeah, it makes a very nice vehicle. I really like this sort of like buggy truck sort of thing. I like the little lights picked out here at the front. I really like this like hood piece. It's very nice. I think it's very pretty looking. It has this sort of aggressive rectangular shaping that I really like, and it's also slightly angled forward, which is really clever. It just has some really nice shaping to it overall. And, like, obviously these are, like, the legs and, like, these are the arms, but it does hide itself away very well. I really like this vehicle mode. Obviously, is this the best Prime? Not really. Also, there is vehicle storage. Either for battle mode, you can just kind of have it be aggressively stab, I guess. Or you can split in half. I think this sort of, like, hides in the asshole somehow. There we go. You can hide that there. Then this can hide below. I think it's also kind of meant to have the Matrix be in his Matrix chamber. That works fine. It does kind of require the Matrix to be in the chamber, I think. Overall, nice vehicle mode. Better than I was expecting. And overall, this is a very nice toy. I really like him. I don't think he's like my favorite Prime or anything. That's still probably Megatronus. And then Soulless. But he's like a good number 3 so far. Obviously, they put some of the heavy hitters in the first wave, but I do think he's like my 3rd favorite. I forgot to show the Matrix chamber. He's got a Matrix chamber. You know, I can take the borked version. Here's the borked version from last time. He's got a Matrix chamber. He's got a Matrix chamber. It's a little plain in there, but you can put the Matrix in there. But yeah, overall, pretty good toy. I think I'd recommend him maybe on sale if you're not super into the character or the aesthetic. He is a solid figure otherwise. Like, he's just kind of boring looking. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too repetitive. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to do all the usual YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Let me know what other Transformers figures I should check out in the future. And go check out the backlog. I've already gotten a decent number of the Primes from Age of the Primes done. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see a bunch of the others that'll be coming up very, very soon. But yeah, until next time, I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!